Tracy, today is such a big day.
Our first podcast. Can you believe that? This is something that I'm going to be surprised how it goes.
You're going to be surprised? Okay. I'm going to be surprised too, I guess. Yeah. So I'm Tracy.
And I'm Paul.
Talking a little bit about why we're here.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for us to share some of our thoughts and our theories and our friends and different things that we're going to talk about. And the biggest thing is success, right?
Success, yeah.
Resorting to it, trying to find a way to get to it.
Even through adversity, through life changes, through all kinds of things.
Yeah, I think, don't you think it just feels like something we're going to just talk about how to get the positive out of everything and not the negative. That's a big part of it because everything's a choice.
It is, yeah. So before we kind of get into the bones of why we're here, we should probably talk about who we are.
Yeah, let's go. Whoa, let's take that.
I talk with my hands, so for those of you who are listening, I almost knocked the microphone over.
I won't show any bruises because.
Okay, my hands are on my lap. Let's move forward. Okay.
So us, right? Married 6 years, been doing amazing things since together. We've been together just a little around 7 years now, I think it is.
Yeah.
And we've searched every day to try to make it better. We've been blessed with a great marriage in a short period of time and work hard on it every day.
We do. And he just said it, we just celebrated 6 years, and I have to give him some accolades here because for our 6-year anniversary, he surprised me with a little trip, and I don't know about other women, but I was a little frightened because he said, we're going away for the night. What does that mean? What do I pack?
Well, staycations are hard, right? We got kids around still.
Anyways, he said, look good. I always look good.
Hey, that's my line.
I know it is. But anyways, he said, look nice. We're going to go. So anyways, he ended up taking me to a really beautiful dinner.
We'll plug here, Chateau de Sirop up at the Elderberry House.
Amazing. Yeah.
What a great night.
Beautiful. We spent a little time by the pool. We went to dinner and had this amazing dinner. And
if you guys haven't been there, that place, 5 stars plus. Pretty amazing.
Amazing. Anyway, so we just celebrated our 6-year anniversary.
Yep.
We feel like we're still honeymooning.
Oh, that's the goal, right? Every time we go, we honeymoon.
Yeah.
If it's not with the kids especially, we're honeymooning.
Love it. So anyway, 6 years, and we recently had a bit of a change in our life with business.
Big change.
Yeah. So
Tracy has been a senior salesperson and executive in the bridal industry for eons, and we've been blessed to start another company by accident, as we say.
The accidental business.
Yeah, the accidental, and we actually own Resort Life Carts here in Madera, Fresno, and she just joined the team full time, which is a big change in our house.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I've been in the bridal industry for 22 years, and so it's a little different going to work in shorts and a polo shirt. I don't know how I feel about that one. I may have to look for excuses to dress up, but it has been a very interesting, fun change, and I think we just talked about this. We went to dinner last night with some friends, and we just talked about this, that it's really interesting at this age. I'm at the top of my game in my career, and I have made this reputation for myself. And
work hard on that every day.
Yeah, and then to say I retired from that. Okay, first of all, retirement, that sounds old, but
I'm the old one in the relationship. We'll go there.
But anyways, it's really exciting. We love being together and spending time together, and so it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2 weeks-ish.
And we've jumped right in.
Yeah, it's been great. So I come from the automotive industry. Tracy met me through that years ago, and I've been in it since I was a kid, and it's been something that's a passion of mine. And so we worked together in the bridal business for a number of years together, and then started playing around with the golf cart in the garage, and the story just catapulted. So we're been enjoying that in the sense of how it goes, but now our demands have gotten so high that now you've joined us, which is I love.
Here I am.
And so bringing the powerhouse back together, that's how we look at it.
Yeah. And isn't life so strange? Because we were in a whole different business, right? I mean, I'd drug you in with
Oh,
me.
yeah, yeah.
And we
Loved
were
it.
in a whole different business. And then just moving into a neighborhood that had golf carts, and you've always loved anything with four wheels. And so bought a golf cart, was souped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And driving it through the neighborhood, and it makes me laugh because you're driving through the neighborhood and someone's like, wait, hey, you want to sell that thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything's for sale.
Well, yeah. Everything's for sale.
So anyways, it's odd to me when I really think back on life, and it kind of, even thinking about this podcast and why we're doing that, life can change very quickly. Life has twists and turns, but sometimes they're great twists and turns. Sometimes they're obstacles. In our case, it was pretty cool because you ended up selling quite a few golf carts out of the garage.
Yeah.
And me, so square, I'm like, I do not want the IRS coming to get us. So like, maybe we should make this legit.
Let's go legit. Yeah. And the part with that is, I think is great, that is what feeds this podcast, I think, and mentally for both of us, is that we're half full people innately, and not every day is sunshine either, right? But the part of it for us is to share that growth moments and recognize what really should be a possible avenue for success. I mean, and we've found another avenue. I think that's what you have to be flexible, no matter it's your relationships or friends. I mean, in our 6 short years, we've taken a lot of lefts and rights, right? In every marriage and every relationship, it's that goes that way. So I'm excited to meet and talk, and for us to share a lot of these conversations between what we do and show people that they can resort to success. They can pick that lane. It may not feel successful, but if you feel like that's the energy, go with it.
And I think it'll be really fun to have some guests on that talk about how they've handled adversity and how they've handled the twists and turns in life and how they've resorted to success in their life. Yeah. And it can be, each episode will be very specific on a topic, but the topics, there's success in all aspects of life, right? Is it with your kids? Yeah. Is it with,
It could be business. It could be carts.
Okay, I've been a mom for 21 years plus, almost 22. I can't believe it. But anyways.
You'd never guess.
And so I feel like I finally have learned. My daughter is 17. I have finally learned that sometimes to approach a teenager at the time of I'm going to call it situation, incident.
And from my vantage point, being the bonus dad in that scenario, that's the part that's the stepping back piece sometimes.
Sometimes at the time of, we had a situation the other morning where someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and she's working her first job and had a double shift, and she was tired, right? And anyways, woke up, good morning. And anyway, we didn't hear the first time, and so then she kind of raised her voice of, good morning, And I thought, I'm not going to tackle that right now because I know she is tired and whatever. Anyway, so I get in the car to take her to work about an hour and a half later, and we had the conversation when we were both calm that, it's not okay to raise your voice. I know you're tired. We all get tired when we work. This is called adulting. You're getting a dose of it, right? Yeah. And she was very receptive, and she apologized. But I've learned. It took me 22 years as a mom to learn that. And am I slow? Possibly, but...
Well, and, finally that lane sticks up to you at this last resort. Right? Sometimes that last resort's where we're at now, right?
I'm resorting to success. Parenting, man, it could be tough. So some of the topics could be parenting. Some could be success of business. Some could be health, fitness. There's all kinds of situations in life that happen.
Well, and I think since we've brought the idea of this up forward is that Tracy and I are really big on making relationships and making friends. I think if that's anything, the bonus in our world is the people, and there's so many different ways to look at and learn from people. Sometimes you you wonder why they say things or some their actions, and sometimes you are so proud of when they do, or you want to learn from it. And so that for us, right? We talk about that a lot. I mean, our friends, our closest friends, our furthest friends, our business friends, we focus on that, right? And I mean, even in our daily businesses, that's the exciting part of having you in the store, is that now we can actually pull that even closer together, because we've made some amazing friends, even a short period of time for the business, but also too in our relationship. And we focus on that every day. And I think and I learned that from you. That you're the grace in that. I mean, because you're better than that than I am for sure. But try to make it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so when we start our day every day, I think it's good to talk about how you start your day successful, and I would love to hear from our listeners about this, how they start their day successful. So you can DM us. We would love to hear from you, because this intrigues me, how everybody starts their day differently, right? We've all heard this. Okay, make your bed. Make your bed. It's the first thing you accomplish every day. I'm a big believer in that. So are you.
Oof.
The other day, I did not make the bed. I was the last one out. I did not make it because I was running, and you actually commented.
Recognized.
You commented, yeah, because we usually
What we do.
Yeah, we make the bed. Anyways, but one thing that cracks me up about you.
Well, let me preface this a little bit.
Because you know what I'm going to say.
I come from years and years of sales training and at every level, and being in the automotive industry and my own business for a number of years, and learning from that and working in the corporate side of automotive. Culture is what you're taught, right?
Yeah.
And what you ingest. And so also too is what you're told. So I learned this, and I'll segue back to you, but a little disclaimer, but at the same time, it's worked for me.
Okay. He disclaimered that. So I can now say, so it's really funny to me that when he's getting ready in the morning and he gets out of the shower and does his hair and does all the things and
The chrome.
Yeah, I got to put the gel in the chrome. And anyways, and so he stands in front of the mirror and says, today's going to be a great day. And I remember, excuse me, when we first got together thinking, man, that's so funny. Like, that's really a funny thing to say to yourself in the mirror. Right. But it's actually this great thing to say, because you're setting the tone for the day. Right?
Absolutely.
You're setting the tone. And now, like, I love that. And you usually follow it up with,
damn, I'm good looking.
No
Not short of
confidence
confidence
issues.
sometimes, but the thing is just stand a little further from the mirror every year. It still looks better, and it still looks the same.
What did you read the other day about standing 6 feet back? As you get older, it was like something like, as you get older, you stand further and further back,
Right.
so that you think you're still good looking.
Optically, it looks changes, but at the same time, it works.
How far back are you at this point?
Oh, solid 5.
Okay.
50 foot a year every 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your thing in the morning, right? That's how you start your day, and it makes you feel good to, today's going to be a great day.
Okay, so it's one thing if I have to say this is your start, right? Which is historically accurate for women. And I'll let you go from there.
What?
Go ahead, tell your part, and then we'll see how this one fits.
What's my part? Looking good?
Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah. So for me, I always feel like I want to look good too. I mean, hey.
Put it together.
Right? So I would rather be the best dressed person in the room than the biggest slob in the room. Like, for me, if I put my makeup on, get dressed and put heels on, typically, like, I feel good. I feel like I can accomplish something.
So, orange heels are going to be required.
I'm going to have to figure it out.
Orange are colors. Let's go.
So in the bridal industry, this was easy,
right,
because you're showing up, and I feel like I'm in the fashion industry. If I don't walk in looking like a mill, they're not going to trust my judgment, right?
So this is where I qualify waiting on a woman.
Exactly. There's been songs written about that. Yes. So, but truly, I feel like that is when you look good, you present yourself, you hold yourself better, and you accomplish more in a day, right?
And don't you think that that's that adage of success, right? That's the adage of you set the hope for success in the day, right? And that's the part that like that I believe that. I've listened to radio shows and broadcasters of some of the biggest talk hosts, Dave Ramsey, I mean,
Right.
financial expert, post-it notes on the mirror. Tell yourself, talk to yourself.
Right.
I've never been quite that organized, but I have also
You talk
known,
to yourself in the mirror every day.
well,
Today's going to be a great day.
yeah. Well, the post-it note part is, I guess.
Okay, yeah. But also for me, and I don't know, my daughter would probably say it's because I'm old. I'm not old, just FYI. But anyways,
29.
for me, I feel very confident when I'm wearing animal print. It's
Yes.
like my
The neutral.
moniker, right?
The neutral.
And I do believe that animal print is a neutral, so it's true. It matches anything. You could pair it with anything. So
I haven't
typically,
resorted to that one yet.
I'm working it in.
She's trying.
I
No, she's
actually
trying, guys.
do wear animal print tennis shoes to work now.
Yeah.
Traded in my heels, but anyways, I typically have some form of animal print on. If it's my shoes, my
Yep.
not always, but everybody has their thing that makes them feel like they're ready to tackle the day.
It'd be great to hear from people about that.
Yeah.
What is just your simple start? Is there a simple start for you? I mean,
What
some
do you
people
do?
don't actually naturally have that piece, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we hope to instill. It's like, and it's funny, I've never been a person that's like, oh, I've been listening to this and they've inspired me, but at the same time they have. It's like
Yeah.
I ingest it maybe in a different way, but
Oh,
with that
I
little
do.
simple step,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and I think for me, being that I had a job and even long before, do you know, even in high school, I never wore jeans. I just didn't feel like I looked good in jeans. I just didn't like jeans. I finally found a few pairs that I like as an adult, but it's been in me forever. But I think that's my challenge with this generation of kids going to school in their pajamas, like honestly kills me. And I feel like it's
setting the
not
bar
a
low.
way to set yourself up for success every day. And
It's really interesting. Years ago, I got a chance to travel down to Oakley, the sunglass and
Yeah.
apparel manufacturer, and actually got to meet the owner of Oakley in the day, the original guy. And his creativity piece was to allow his people to not only decorate their workspaces, but also wear what they wanted to work. I thought it was a unique example of allowing people to be creative in a space where they work.
Yeah.
But I also saw a lot of loose, and I thought, man, I don't know how that's going to work structurally for them in the long
Yeah.
term. And still popular, still famous. So obviously something worked.
Yeah.
They made way more money than I did. So my offsets.
well,
But-
I know what works for people. And
What
some
works
people
for you.
don't feel
Yeah.
good dressed up,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
and that's not, if you're a t-shirt manufacturer, you're probably not dressing up every day. I mean, you know what I mean? I get it. So what works for each person? I do think that COVID definitely changed
changed our world.
things
Yeah.
and made everything much more casual. It used to just be casual Friday. Now it's like dress up Friday, maybe we bring that. Maybe we make that a thing. I don't know. But
Nothing better than a suit for me. That's my fave. I mean, I love being in a suit and dialed in,
Yeah.
and nice watch and nice look, and just be there. And I think
Yeah.
that it's been lost, our kids especially right now. So it'll be interesting to see where we take.
So
this.
would love to hear from you. I remember just trying to instill these things in my kids, and they went to an elementary school that their principal was so great. And he was so positive and such a delight and fun. Like it's what you think an elementary school principal would be, right? Shout out to Charlie Reynolds from Star Elementary.
Local fame. One of the
Amazing.
most famous principals in the Fresno Unified.
And every single day on the loudspeaker, they would go through, do the flag salute. They would, do all the announcements. And he would always end with, make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
Love that. That's my statement. It's your choice. Yeah.
And I
Make a choice.
loved that. I remember the first time sitting in the classroom at a class function or whatever that reason why I was there and hearing that. And I talked to the kids about it later and they said, oh, he says that every day. And I think that is such a positive reminder, make it a great day or not. It could be a great day. It's your choice.
Yeah. True that.
So choose wisely, right? So I think that's for us, we've had to choose. We
every
have
day we
had
do. Every
many obstacles in our life that could definitely have brought things down, and every day you have to choose to be successful, to be happy, to,
You have to tell
move
yourself.
forward
You got
positively.
to listen to that inner voice,
Choice.
right? That's and that's if anything we take from all this is that listen to these people, listen to us when we chat. Hopefully, we bring more insights to how that looks. And my wife, I love the center of my world for my whole person, and taking from her, and I said that earlier, is that you to me are my light in the sense of how that looks and how we live every day. And people got to find, if it's a person, if it's a thing, it's a whatever, it's your morning cup of coffee and your dog on your lap, which hashtag Heather, this is for you. And so is that we need to find that, we need to share that with people and listen to
Yeah.
people talking. If you stop and listen, I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's age talking there.
And I've picked up on every year, my mom, my aunt, my cousin, and I go on a little retreat.
Female
And
soiree.
this year, we were up at Bass Lake, and it's such a great time to just refresh with family. But my cousin, Christy, she every morning goes out and sits in her gazebo, and she has her coffee, and she does a little Bible study and reflection, and then she starts her day. And I love that. I love that she has this routine that helps her to start positively, right?
Sure.
And it's really cool to just see that in other people. And I've been trying, I'm always listening, like, what do other people do?
Yeah. Well, like for me, it's the hardest part of my day is to wake up and get going because I want to go so bad. I do want to jump into the fray, as we call it.
Oh my goodness.
And the fray for me is my comfort zone, which is unique. And wasn't for you grounding me a lot in that case is because I'll tell you that's the part that actually is my comfort zone because I've been in the businesses of I've used the reference of being on the floor of Wall Street, and I live
Yeah.
for it, and
Yeah.
and I think you've seen that especially inside of our store. We're blessed. We are so blessed, guys, that this business that we've started have been really growing in a really unique time in our world, and not necessarily everybody gets to share that part of the success, and we're praying that it goes forward for that. But I think it's a lot of it's that choice. It's like put it out there.
Yeah. Well, and so it's interesting. So another topic, honestly, could be the shut off button. Like how do you shut it off? Right. So we were just at dinner last night with our friends, Jason and Irene, and we were talking about that.
Right, they were both.
And they
And
were
they're business owners.
They are business owners, and they are amazing. And I think most business owners probably are very motivated, or people that are high level salespeople or running companies. And
Small business or big, it's
Yeah,
really not
exactly.
a size thing. It's just a role.
yeah. And so anyways, we were talking, and Irene was saying how she sets goals, right? And she was running, there was a big fitness competition
yeah,
of some sort,
yeah,
right?
she
So
likes to
she
do
trained
that.
and trained and trained and trained and trained and was at the top of her game and did it. And then it was like, whoa, what do I do next?
What's next? Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes that's a thing too.
And
Like,
she's in that crossroads of choices, like we talked about, with
Yeah.
her, right? She's like, well, do I go back and being a fitness freak, or do I go back to running my company and
fitness
trying
freak.
I mean, you'll appreciate that, right? But the part is that that's those choices, right? Which way do you resort to for yourself?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
And somewhere down the line, we are going to have a topic on cell phones
Oh God.
and how that impacts life, success, shut off button, response times like that. That's a huge topic. I actually would love to hear from people on that topic too, because we're in this world of instant response.
Well, it's instant gratification. I think that's
Instant.
I'm a student of the game of business and sales, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
part that I think has helped create our business. But it also too comes to the detriment of my day, because uniquely, just some industries, ours starts in the manufacturers in Florida, so it's 6 o'clock. The bell rings because it's 9 there, and we Don't fail to. People come home and think about their golf cart in the garage, and they got to get it fixed at 7:30 at night. So they
Yeah.
send us a message.
Right.
So you try to be all things to all people. Finding that button, right? And I'm not good at it. That's one thing I can
Yeah.
learn.
And what is the phrase that you always say? Do what no one else will do.
Do what no one else will do.
And I agree with that 1,000%. I just also think there does need to be a shut off button at some point.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the unique is today's world. You have to take them in larger sumps or those moments.
yeah,
And when I was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho for a number of years, managing with an amazing team at a Toyota store up there that Mike White, if you ever get a chance to see this, you're the mention, you're the reason for this. This is a GM of a store that actually is known worldwide for being a leader. And I took from his person, but he always talked about, don't jump into the fray, but jump into the role. And I like the mix of both a lot of times, but
Yeah.
the role actually creates the fray. But I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot in how that looks, but his shut off button was, I'm out. Like, I'm gone, and when I go on vacation, don't call me, don't text me, don't nothing.
Yeah.
And I probably should get better at that if I had anything to say.
yeah,
Because that moment's
right. There does have to be a shut off, right, at some point. And we both love business. We love helping people.
serving people and helping people, right?
And in the bridal industry for all those years, I mean, I was a sales rep, managed 10 states on the West. And like you, I mean, corporate was back in New York. So the emails and everything started coming in at 6 a.m. And
you don't care. It's not 6 a.m. on this side of the country.
right. And then, store owners or, as they're trying to make orders or whatever, sometimes the calls would happen till 7 or 8 at night. And sometimes people would call. And if I answered, they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you answered. And of course, that was my success, right? Just like what we've talked about.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now. It's
However,
dare to be different.
Yeah.
And that's really in our world, I believe this, and this is one of my choices, but it's also one of my greatest beliefs in the world of business today. That success piece is all you have left to resort to is your person.
Yeah.
And if you do a good job being a good person, represent your business well, represent your family well, and live that day.
Yeah.
But it can come with a serious weight. So
Yeah.
it's a balance.
And we're super appreciative of other people who answer their phones. So last night on our way to dinner with our friends, we had been eyeing this dresser.
Yeah.
And
Little used dresser and a little used refab store here.
yeah, and
store.
anyways, we don't make it across town. It's like probably 30 minutes probably across town.
Clovis from Madera.
Right. So anybody that's local, they know. So down Herndon in the traffic, blah blah blah. So we've been meaning to go pick this up
For 3 weeks.
So we finally were like, we're going to Clovis. Okay, reach out. So guess what? They were closed.
Yeah.
Of course, Tuesdays they close. So you texted or called the lady?
Message through Facebook Messenger.
Messaged the lady, and she was so sweet and said, no problem, come by.
Yeah, we'll meet you there.
We'll meet you there. Okay, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And it saved us. I mean, you would have had to make a trip another time with the trailer to blah, blah, blah. So anyways, we get there, and all women, actually all couples that are listening will appreciate this statement. So because we were going to go meet friends, Paul says to me, put your blinders on when you go in this store, okay? You look at nothing else.
I'm a shopper, and I'm a married woman that's got a vision for everything that we do.
Put the blinders on. You're looking at nothing but the dresser.
Right.
Okay. So I'm in. I'm dialed. I'm okay. Dresser.
Even as I walk in the door, I say, make sure your blinders are on because I know how this is going to go. And I love it most of the time. We do that. We make friends, right?
Yes.
But we also to discover many things that we not necessarily always need, but we end up with it somehow.
Oh my goodness. I walked in, darling store. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to share their link because it's so cute. All the things in there. We ended up with 2 additional things. The blinders came off. I don't know what happened.
Right.
Anyways.
Truck and trailer.
No. Anyways, the lady was so nice, and her husband, and they stayed. Well, I guess they were working, doing a few things there. They stayed so that we could come get this dresser. And I'll tell you, we left. We got in the car, and I said to you, I said, I hope we come off like this couple.
For sure.
I really hope we come off like this. They were so kind and so sweet. They went out of their way for us, and they did not have to do that. I get how owning a business, you could work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And for them to do that,
certain businesses, especially in today's world,
I really
retail
appreciated
stuff.
that.
Right.
And on top of it, they weren't put out. They weren't like, ugh, we had
They
to be
were
here.
like,
They were so friendly and fun. And she even took me, they have another little store, and we went down there. We had
blinders were like this, right?
the blinders were way off at that point. But she had to get the square to run the credit card because it was at the other store. So she said, do you want to come over? Yes, I do. So I went over there, and as we're looking around the store, and I said, we better get back. We have this dinner. She goes, okay, we go to leave. And she goes, oh, I probably should get the square for the credit card. That's why we came over here. But anyways, I'm going to have to get some girlfriends to go over there. And but I just really, that's the type of impression you want to leave on someone.
Yeah, I think that over the years, and especially since we've been together, that's one of the greatest parts that I feel as a person is that. And I tell people, I've teach salespeople, I've taught salespeople and leaders. I've done teachings in different type of sales roles, and that dare to be different, right? But that also that make sure that when they leave, it wasn't anything about what they came for, it was about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a choice, right? That's what it's, resort to that or resort to that. And it's kind of that. I mean, this is exactly what we're pinning on is that when I say, make sure they know you.
Yeah.
It's how you shake their hand all the way down to eye contact. You name it. You can get all the technical part of it, but it's the person, right? And you don't have to be as forthcoming. Maybe you and I, we have a tendency to be,
Extra.
you can use that word, but yeah, I guess it fits. But I think the part is that extra is what you're getting because, to be honest with you, anybody can sell anything nowadays, especially in America.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so many resources, right? It's just almost amazing what we look past what we have available to us.
Yeah. Service is a thing. Like that is
Sure.
definitely what we have.
Yeah. We love that part.
We definitely love that part. And I think another aspect that plays in as someone who's running a business, anybody who's running a business, whether you're the owner or a manager, is your team.
Oh.
And teaching your team those things.
Yeah.
And appreciating your team. And I know I hear you a lot when you're talking to customers, and you always say my teammate.
Yeah.
You don't say my employee, my
Empowerment's
teammate.
big, get people to make decisions and get people to believe they can do what they do every day. And that's big. And it's empowering, and it's also confidence building, and then going the extra steps without even being asked. I mean, it's in our world because of, this is golf carts, guys. This is not necessarily a complicated piece, but more than I realized in some cases. But we wash the golf cart before it leaves. It's detailed before it goes back. Like nobody else does.
Just going the extra mile.
Going that extra mile, and it's like when it comes in, it's like that's my cart,
Yeah.
So. It's sometimes a nonverbal action. It's not necessarily pouring over them. So it's fun. It's unique. Find ways to be different.
Yeah. So we love the topic of success. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Just between the two of us.
Oh, and that's the part we love.
And our
right?
friends.
Yeah.
When we get together with our friends, often that's a topic.
Yeah, and I think for us, don't you think that the word success is an underlying part of this? It really is just choices, right?
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, for us, I'm going to use the word wrong, but it's fight through and it's not fight, but we dig through a long, sometimes redundantly, to make sure we get to the spot we think we both agree and where we're going to go with something. It's a blessing for our relationship, but also as a person, sometimes you can take it to your friends, you can take it to your family,
Yeah.
you can take it, take it to your religious leader, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But that's how to resort to it. That's finding that map that makes you most comfortable, because that confidence piece is going to take you someplace.
Well, I think that sometimes people think that, okay, this just happens, like whatever, this accomplishment just happened, but it didn't just happen, right?
Didn't just happen,
It's,
right? 100%.
whether it's between us, like there's a lot of times, I mean, you're just not going to agree with everybody all the time.
No.
Even your spouse,
No.
you know, your parent, your kid, your whatever.
And
You got to work through it.
That's maybe the word battle for us. I mean, sometimes it's not a, it's a, what do you call it? It's a push between the beliefs and directions, and see who's going to really make the most sense of the direction. And obviously that's the beauty in our relationship. You're a strong woman. You're a leader in your own right. So I have to do a better job a lot of times listening better than speaking, because I can do that. But it's same vice versa, right? You do the same thing with me. Sometimes, like, I'll take a seat on this one.
Yeah.
And so it's, the interpersonal piece. It's your friends, it's your family, it's your kids, it's your business, listening to your business, listening to your people, whatever your coworker. It's not about just being a business owner, right?
Our customers.
Well, listening as a whole has been the better word that I've had to grow with, and I still need to work on. But I can tell you that that's been a big, big one, because people will tell you exactly what they want, no matter if it's your kid. You just got to look at it, how they look at it.
And we touched on this yesterday, you and I talking about this too, because we've both had extensive sales training. And I remember my first real job, I was in customer service, and then I was
Big local name.
Saladino's,
The Saladino family, the legends in our community for sausage and so much more.
Yeah, food distributor. But anyways, and then I sold cell phones for this company right down the street from Saladino's, and I was recruited after that to this payroll company. And I thought it was pretty cool that I was recruited. It was like, oh wow, but anyways, they did this extensive training program. Anybody who's ever sold payroll, I shout out to you. That is a very hard job. And
the laws nowadays makes it even worse.
being in the bridal industry for all these years with Hearts and Flowers, and thinking back to those days in payroll was like, oh my goodness, not fluffy and glamorous, but
no fluff.
But the training was amazing, and I remember that we would have to do weekly. Everybody would come into the office and sit in their little cubicle and have to make these phone calls to call stores to try to get appointments. And part of the training was, they said, you come with a mirror. You come with a mirror, you put your mirror in your space, and as you're talking, you make sure you're smiling. Because if you're smiling, you're projecting happiness instead of projecting like a monotone tone or, something like that. So sometimes I find myself being aware of that. And we just talked about this.
Yeah.
You said you did that just yesterday.
Just yesterday. I was on the phone and with a customer, and for some reason I felt like I might be a little direct at the moment, or maybe not understood the way they would want to hear it. And I even said, hey, smile.
Yeah.
And I actually literally started smiling through the phone call. And it did reflect, if I listened to it, and it started to go a little different direction, softer direction, which there was nothing wrong, but it's just how it felt with the customer.
Yeah.
So same here with people one-on-one, that smile's worth $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And hey, Zoom did that for us. I was on Zoom meetings for like 3 years, right? On Zoom. And I would often look at myself and make sure I had my Zoom smile on, because sometimes the topics, you're talking about things that, you're so engaged in, and your face changes. And so I would try and make sure I was.
So that was a choice, right? That's a choice for you. That was a choice that you felt was successful, right?
Yeah.
And you can do that with your kids. You can do it with your coworkers. Like, just smile at them, or, when you talk, and don't look like you're like going like this. But the confidence of how your relation is, people will look at you so much differently.
Yeah.
And as the expert, or as a guidance, or whatever that may look like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we love it.
That smile that you just gave me, was the smile that my daughter gave me in the car the other day when I
Right.
was like dropping her off at leadership camp
For her senior year
for
in
her
high school.
senior year. And so I had to, I'm a mom. I had to mark that moment. And so I'm like, smile. And I swear I saw 4-year-old Bella there because she flashed that little cheesy smile at me. And I just had to laugh. So when you said that, it just reminded me of that moment with her. And literally I saw her at 4 years old sitting right there. And then she got out of the car and I'm not crying. I'm not crying.
Right. Well, moms are supposed to do too, right?
It's weird watching your kids grow up. And my son recently went away to school.
Yeah, Trev's
And
in the big city or in the big business world.
yeah. And I mean, I remember, my mom just reminded me of this. I remember crying in the shower before he started kindergarten that morning. Like I distinctly remember
Yeah,
this.
he's 6'3" and 200 plus.
He is.
He's a mountain of a kid.
And
Man.
this poor kid had some pretty major health problems in high school, his freshman, sophomore year. And then he finally recovered from that. He was on bed rest for 5 months, 2 surgeries his sophomore year. So he just kind of had a hard start to his high school years. And then his junior year was COVID.
Right.
So we all know how that went. That was not great. And so after he graduated, he just kind of, went to junior
and
college.
we were concerned as a, bonus dad here. I'm a guy that's a hard driver and want to make this young man just see the light. And at the same time, he's not necessarily that outgoing at that moment. But wow, what a change, right?
Yeah. So he kind of floundered a little bit for a couple years through junior college, and then we found this school, and which is a trade school. He's going to school for sound and music, for video games, movies, and broadcast. Okay. And anyways, he left in January. Okay, he's never lived outside of the house, right, by himself. He has 2 roommates. He's having to work. He's going to school. He has to do outside hours. Man, you want to talk about like choosing to succeed.
Yeah, and he's
at this point.
That's the part that I think that it did in our short time together. I think the light to that, and even with his dad, is the guiding part of that too, is that he definitely has chosen it, and he comes out with it. And he comes with us. He speaks it that way, right?
He owns it.
He owns it.
He owns it.
Like, if you had asked him that 4 years ago, even.
He owns it.
That way. So that the choice, it was a choice in that moment.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
And I remember, we had a moment before he left in December, and both of us got a little teary, he and I. And I said, I don't necessarily want you to go. I'm your mom. I don't want you to go, but I do want you to go because I want you to have this experience. But what I'm going to tell you is if you're going to go be great.
Yeah.
Go be great.
Yeah. Make a choice.
And take nothing else. Go be great. And so I feel that he has gone and he's being great. And so it's pretty cool. I don't know. I just think there's so many layers that if we really stop and notice people's choices and their success, like oftentimes their success is because of their choices.
Yeah. I think that we've touched on so many different variables here, and pretty amazing in a period of time this is why we wanted to do this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that a lot of people nowadays need that reminder that it can be good. It really can be good. Even in the hard times, it can be good.
And we're going to touch on a pretty hard topic in some future episodes that I think will really help remind people that life is about choices.
You got me on the edge of the seat here.
I know. Well, stay tuned.
All right. Well.
But anyways, I think that's kind of about us, right?
Yeah, that's for the nutshell. That's a long and short of it at the moment.
I think that was the long of it.
But hopefully that works out well enough that we can.
That was standing ovation.